guys, it's Griffin and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a conspiracy theory video because there are so many insane conspiracy theories that I truly believe, but a lot of them have been covered by like Shane Dawson or Tana Mojo, so it's kind of hard for me to do all the ones that they've already done. So I was doing some research last night and I found a few that I really kind of like and I wanted to talk about. So let's get started. So the first one is the government is using our TVs and our music to brainwash us. Basically, they're sending subliminal messages by sending weak electromagnetic fields and pulsing that into our brain. It makes your thought patterns controlled to a certain extent. I mean, there's obviously like you can reverse it once you like believe in this theory. If you watch less TV and you listen to less distracting music and you meditate, like that's an easy way to get rid of it. I'm not 100% sure if I believe in this one because maybe I say that I don't believe it because I watch a lot of TV and listen to a lot of music. Oh no. This is just probably one of the ones that I believe less of than like the other ones that I'm gonna talk about, but I still think it's kind of weird because I wouldn't put it past the government to try to brainwash us because God knows what they do. But government, don't shut down my channel, please and thanks. Oh, also something that I forgot to mention about this one is that there's an actual Google document patent, and I'll leave it in the description below. It's a lot of big words, so if you don't feel like reading it, I totally understand, but it tells you everything there is to know about the subliminal messages being sent through pulses to your brain. So I would definitely check it out. There are even like pictures describing it, so it's like a little bit like user-friendly. Conspiracy theory number 2. I don't know why I'm holding up 2 2s because that means 4. Conspiracy theory number 2. The Denver airport. I'm sure everyone has heard about this one. If you haven't, pay close attention because this one is truly freaky. When the Denver airport opened February 28th in 1995, they fell 16 months behind schedule and $2 billion over budget. $2 billion is a ton of money and no one really knows where that money was put because it's a large airport and it makes sense that there's like a lot of money going into it, but they had a $2.8 billion budget and they went $2 billion over budget and no one knows where that money went. It also just so happens that if you look at the airport from above, I'll put an image right here, the airport is shaped like a swastika. Beyond freaky. And who in their right mind in 1995, after this had all happened, makes an airport and doesn't realize, oh, that looks a little weird, maybe we should change it? So something else about the airport is that there's an underground to it, and that's why people said that they fell so far behind because there are 5 multi-story buildings underneath the airport, and that's what different like construction workers said, but then they never really said anything else about it. And a lot of people believe that it's part of the New World Order or like a place where people can meet for the New World Order, or if there's any sort of like apocalypse or anything that happens to the world, like really important people can go live under the Denver airport. And there's also artwork all over the Denver airport and like this giant horse statue outside. I'll insert a picture of it right here, but there's this like scary Nazi soldier and he's like holding a gun and like, I don't know, there's just some like weird artwork all over that kind of shows what maybe the New World Order might be. And there's also the blue horse statue outside that actually killed the person who designed it in the process of making it, but they still put it up. No big deal, no big deal. Oh my gosh, this is the last one, but it's by far the most exciting. Actually, I'll touch point on one other after this, but this one is like the main one that I want to talk about, the main one that excites me the most. So this one has to do with the Titanic, and I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to be offensive at all. Like I'm sorry to all the people who lost their lives in that event. This is just an interesting conspiracy theory that I wanted to touch base on. The Olympic is another ship owned by Harland and Wolff, which are the people who built the Titanic and like the Olympic and the Britannic. So the theory goes is that the Olympic had 2 different accidents already, and they were kind of worried and they wanted to do an insurance scam. So as the theory goes, the Olympic was swapped out with the Titanic and it was sunk in a staged accident. And the Titanic, now disguised to be the Olympic, would carry on in service. So technically the Titanic is still around, but the Olympic is actually the ship that sunk. So there are a few different things that make me really truly believe that this happened. So number 1 is there are so many minor differences among the 2 ships, and one of them is the porthole. The Olympic had 16, but the Titanic had 14. And photographs taken the day that the Titanic was leaving showed that there were 14 of them, so it shows that it was a true Titanic. But then when they found the actual shipwreck, there were 16 portholes. The second thing is that there were rumors amongst the crew. During this time, there was a shortage of workers being hired for this type of work, like to run the boat, firemen, boiler stockers, all that. There was a shortage of jobs for them. And when the Titanic was coming around, they should have been jumping at the opportunity to get one of those jobs. However, there was a rumor going around the ships had been swapped and that you didn't want to work on this crew. And so no one was accepting the job, and they had a really hard time finding all the right amount of people to run the ship. And another rumor is that they didn't have the right amount of people to run the ship, and things kind of went astray. The next thing that truly makes me believe this is that the guy was a big investor in the Titanic, the Olympic, the Britannic, all of these different ships. He was a huge investor because he owned the White Star's parent company, and the White Star is the one put on like the show and everything. And he was due to travel on the Titanic and go on this entire cruise and have so much fun. And just a few days before the ship's departure, he claimed that he was sick. And then just a few days into the actual cruise, they saw pictures of him being just fine with his mistress in France. And there was a ship owned by him called the Californian. It had no passengers, and it was sitting in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with over 3,000 woolen blankets and jumpers. I literally think that ship was waiting for the Titanic crash, or the Olympic, I guess, to crash, and it was gonna be there to pick up some people afterward as just like a mysterious case, like, oh, there was a random ship around with like a bunch of woolen like, what? No. And what's really strange is that some of the passengers who lived from the actual shipwreck said that they were told the Californian is on its way and that it has all these different amenities to help them. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is deja vu. This one's a really short one. There are two different theories that go along with it. The first is that something is happening in a parallel universe that is aligning with your current universe that you're in. So the two universes align and your body recognizes that moment and it's having deja vu. And another thing is when something like this exact moment, if I had deja vu right now, that means this exact moment happened in a past life of mine, and it's so similar to this moment that my mind doesn't really know what to think, but has deja vu. Alright, you guys, that is it for this week's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out all my social medias. I will have them linked down below. And before I go, I wanted to say that I love doing conspiracy theory videos. It's really hard to find ones that haven't been touched base on before, but if there are any conspiracy theories that you guys believe in that you want me to talk further into, leave a comment down below and I can definitely make a part 2 of this, and hopefully I will see you guys later. Bye!